Hi everyone, it's Stori here, and this is RP Weekly. So as you obviously can tell, new graphics. I can finally afford to invest in some new intro, and there also are some new title thingies happening in RP Weekly. I just got tired of the old ones, which tends to happen with me with graphics and really anything. I'm going to offer a quick apology if there are any noise. It's a snow day, and try as I might, my house does not have good insulation, and people are home, and therefore there is noise. We're also back to our normal structure of RP Weekly. The past two have been holidays, and so now we're back to normal of 2017. Tasks Weekly is on their 25th task, which is music. I've noticed that a lot of Disney RPs are coming back in. I don't know what's been happening in the Disney world that suddenly there's like a ton of new RPs opening up, but they're there. And I have actually included one in my notable blogs. So this next thing isn't necessarily a trend, but it is something that I wanted to include in this video somewhere, and this seemed like the best place to put it. Chinese New Year RPC event. It is being hosted by Tori Helps and Leah RPs. So in order to bring in more resources that are severely lacking for Chinese face claims, they decided to set up this kind of event from January 27th to 29th. So it's very similar to a fic exchange because there are creators and then there are receivers. You can be either or. Creators, you obviously create content. Receivers, you can ask and request certain face claims as long as they are Chinese descent. There is a link in the description that has all the information that you could possibly want to know about this, as well as instructions about how to become a creator or receiver. I've actually got quite a few things for my wish list this week. The first one is Overwatch. I have actually never played Overwatch. I am kind of waiting for it to be gifted to me for a late Christmas gift, so I can't actually buy it yet, so it's kind of killing me. But anyway, Overwatch, the characters are very diverse. I think I'm pretty sure there are already indie RPers out there, but to consider a group roleplay in the sort of environment and the maps and the character styles that exist in Overwatch, consider them in a roleplay, be really cool. So Overwatch roleplay I will give 3 corgis to. So this next one I actually have never, that I can remember off the top of my head, I've never seen a roleplay that is about time travel. If you haven't seen Timeless, this is kind of, you should probably check it out. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm thinking of, and where this came from. This is why it's on the wish list. But with time travel, you have so many different possibilities, and you can create such a variety of a roleplay. And so I'm going to give a time travel roleplay 5 corgis. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Unfortunately, I have never read the books, and I have still not seen the movie. But is the movie out? I think it is. Clearly, I am in touch with the modern world. But it is a very cool concept, and I think it's a great plot. People seem to love it, and I know I've seen quite a few people looking around for this type of roleplay anyway, so why not put it on my RP wish list? And so for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I will give it 4 corgis. And this one was actually sent in to me, so thank you, Anon, for sending that in. And Sense8 roleplay, but with canon characters. There's really only Sense8 roleplays that are OCs, so the characters are pretty cool. And it's kind of weird if you think about it that the show doesn't have a roleplay that's like with canon characters. So whoever wants to create this, hop on it fast. People want it. And therefore I will give Sense8 with canon characters 4 corgis. So this next one is possibly my greatest wish on this list. So I don't mean to make this sound salty. This is actually something I genuinely really want, especially for the roleplay community as a whole. But a roleplay that considers adult life schedules. And by that I mean ones that have low activity, high quality. Because I work full-time, I go to school full-time, I do a weekly episode of RP Weekly, and that actually does take up at least a day in both filming and editing when things go right. And I'm also working on other stuff for the YouTube channel. So writing, though, RP writing has always been fun for me, and that's how I relax. That's how I get all the things about the world out. But I haven't been able to do RPing lately because of activity. I can't, some weeks are just really hard, really exhausting, especially when there's a bunch of holidays around. So why not start up this trend or some sort of role play that allows for people to be in them, but not necessarily have such a small window of activity. I know it works well for indie RPers. Indie RPing is the thing. It's still there. Lots and lots of people do it. So why not a group experience, but with indie roleplay activity vibe, if that makes sense. So this, if I could give more than 5 corgis, I would. But for a roleplay with low activity, high quality, 5 corgis. Yoshitaka Yoriko, and she is a Japanese actress, and Alex Rice, who is an actress of Mohawk ethnicity. Bridgemont RPG. This is an OC Apples University roleplay, and it's set at a school where there is low funding, and therefore the school is being threatened to close within the next year. And so students have decided that they really want to keep their school open, so they are going to band together to try and find a way to do that. Scooby HQ. This is actually not a Mr. Ink roleplay. It is a semi-Apples canon-divergent Buffy the Vampire Slayer roleplay. That was a lot of words all at once. So up until the Halloween episode of the 2nd season is the canon plot that they keep. But after that point, it is all original. So the Hellmouth is closed, but dark creatures are coming out and returning. Including demons who actually have been dead for quite some time, and they're coming back to life with no explanation whatsoever. And with all of that happening, girls all over the world are being called as slayers, even though Buffy is still alive and kicking. Literally and figuratively. Disney Springs HQ. This is the Disney RP that I mentioned earlier. They're an Apples Twitter RP that are based around the workers at Disney World's outdoor mall and shopping center, Disney Springs. And in order to adapt to having tasks and events, they have decided to give the workers / characters the benefits that the cast members of Disney parks have. And this means that they get an annual pass to the parks and also are able to go to the cast member party. Rydell High HQ. This is a semi-Apples school and town roleplay that is based off of both of the Grease films. They just have a little bit of different plots going on. It's centered around 4 gangs, and they do also take OCs. RP Justice. This is a blog that takes graphic requests. So they'll take custom themes or promo graphic requests, things like that. And for indie blogs this week, I have Girls Will Be Boys 11. She is a Harry Potter cosplay RPer, and from what I could get from browsing through, she mainly does Ginny Weasley and Lily Evans. Life as a Marauder, who is also a Harry Potter cosplay role player, and they do quite a few. They do Remus Lupin and Teddy Lupin are the 3 that I can name off the top of my head, and I did not go very far back into the blog, but I'm sure there are some other fantastic cosplay. And finally, for notable blogs this week, I have Draco Malfoy. They're a non-selective, multiverse and multi-ship Draco Malfoy roleplayer. And the goodie bag this week obviously has the Tasks Weekly link. It also has that Chinese New Year event post. There are a couple things that I wanted to highlight and also literally highlighted on my papers. There's a trouble reading small font guide, which is fantastic. A Mafia and Italian Mafia guide, which please read, because I've done all this research on my own and I really wish there was this guide when I was doing all that research out. It saved me a lot of time. And something new that I learned this time around is Adobe Edge web font guide. I never heard of that. Like, I know I've used fonts from Adobe through like their Creative Cloud app thing that they have, but I've never actually knew that they had web fonts that you could use. So it's the same thing as Google Fonts, but Adobe. Finally, there is a how to remove music players from all Tumblr blogs. This is great if you are like me and don't want autoplay music players happening when you open a blog. So thank you for watching, and thank you to those that responded to my post on Tumblr Your suggestions obviously were used, and also they really do help me because I want to curate this to also include not just my own personal opinions, but the RP community. So being able to communicate with you guys is great. I love it. Please continue to do it, and I'll definitely be putting up more messages as I go along with each week. So leave a like, subscribe, and any comments, always leave them below. I always see them. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, general mottos of life, feel free to send them my way. So have a great beginning of week, end of week, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Stori, and I will see you next week on RP Weekly. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine.